So the next thing I want to talk about is just the general outline of the map itself. So going over to one of these two maps that are situated at the front gates here, all you have to do is press X to interact with it, and you can see that it brings up the general overview of the map itself. And you'll notice that we run pretty much four main buildings in this space, with the fifth point of interest actually being the fact that we have a beachfront location as well. Um, so let's cover what each of these buildings actually houses. So leading on the Gold Trail, we can see that it takes us to building number 3. This is actually going to be our resource library. And what we're going to house here is basically any information that would be helpful for students considering grad school. And this can include, tips for research, tips for applying for grants, anything that again is helpful for students considering continuing their education beyond their bachelor's degree. Moving over, we now are on the red trail, and we see that this takes us to building number 2 here. And this is our relaxation and game room. So we understand that this is a pretty informational event, and as such, you can actually sort of experience a little bit of information overload. So we encourage you to venture over to this part of the map here and into the relaxation game room to just sort of give your brain a little bit of a break. And then you can, once you're feeling rested, go back out and enjoy the rest of the events as planned. So now we find ourselves on the green trail here. And this will actually take you to building number 1, which is known as Three Fires Hall. This is really one of the main buildings that we have on our virtual campus. And the reason I say that is specifically just because this houses all of our poster presentations, which historically has been, where most of our research presentations have been submitted. Additionally, we are also housing our keynote speaker event in this building as well. So chances are, as a moderator, you're likely going to be guiding people who are looking for, presentations towards this building right here. However, I should say that if you are trying to guide someone towards, a creative art piece or a piece of creative writing, tell them to follow the blue trail, because essentially this takes you to our creative fine arts gallery, where you can find not only creative art pieces themselves, but also original creative works written by some of our own students. Given that most of our event is actually going to occur in Three Fires Hall, I figured it'd probably be best to give you a sort of an overview of the actual building itself. So upon entering this building, you'll notice that there are two basic doorways for you to teleport to. And essentially all this really means is that you can walk through this door here and you'll end up in one of the other buildings. Now this one here that I just walked through will take you to the art gallery, which is, you could also get to there by following the blue trail, or you could go through this doorway simply. The one on this side will take you to our creative resource library, which is the gold trail. But moving forward, we sort of see that as we make our way to the back of this area, we're going to have a number of different open rooms that we can explore. Now, the Lake Michigan room is specifically for posters, and this will house posters number 1 through, I believe it's 82. So if anyone is looking for posters 1 through 82, simply direct them to the Lake Michigan room. Moving over, we're going to find ourselves at the Lake Superior Lecture Hall, and this is actually where we are going to hold our keynote speaker event. And if you do end up being a moderator in this room in particular, we ask that you consistently encourage people to move out of the doorway. So basically tell them to take a seat and then press X. And the reason for that being is simply because if we have enough people start to crowd this area, there won't be space for people to move essentially. So they'll basically just be blocking the door. But yeah, so that's all you really have to do as far as that's concerned. And as far as whether or not they want to interact with the speakers or ask them any questions, they can scan the QR code on the floor here, or they can simply go over to this little computer and interact with it, which will take them to a forum which they can ask their questions. So moving over, we will now find ourselves at the Lake Huron room. And this is going to house posters 83 through 129. So it's pretty much the same deal as the Lake Michigan room, except it houses the rest of the posters, or I should say posters 83 through 129. And so moving down now, we see ourselves at the Lake Erie room, and this will actually house the remainder of the posters. So any poster from 130 and beyond will be housed in this particular location. And the last room we have in this space is the Lake Ontario room. This is a room that's specifically dedicated to the students who chose to present in our 3-minute thesis research competition.